Hey you Stygian dogs, let's take a look at a new novella by author Chuck Dixon. Chuck Dixon is something of a comics legend. With a prolific body of work, he might be most widely known for his writing on Batman, Nightwing, The Punisher, being the co-creator of Bane, and of course writing on several Conan titles, including Savage Sword of Conan, something like 52 issues between 1985 and 1993. Given this, I was intrigued to discover that he'd penned a new Conan novella titled Siege of the Black Citadel. It's published by Castalia House, an independent publisher with a Swiss-based mailing address. Looking at the publishing details, we see Chuck Dixon's Conan No. 1, The Siege of the Black Citadel, Chuck Dixon, published by Castalia House, Switzerland, cover art by Adamir Leal, copyright 2023 by Chuck Dixon. The statement of public domain is emphasized as follows. Created by Robert E. Howard, the character of Conan first appeared in Weird Tales in 1932 and entered the public domain in Europe in 2006. Chuck Dixon's Conan is an original creation by comic legend Chuck Dixon that relies solely upon the stories and characters of Robert E. Howard that are available for use in the public domain and should not be confused with any of the later presentations of Howard's characters that are still protected by copyright law in the United States of America. And of course, this isn't the first time we've seen Conan published under the public domain in Europe. French publisher Glenette began its Conan Le Cimmerian comic series around 2018. Though when Ablaze published the English language collections of the Cimmerian, it's clear that the public domain claim could only carry so much weight, and we see that some sort of licensing agreement had to have been arranged with Conan properties. Now, who knows what the legal implications are for a public domain story printed in the United States for a Swiss-based company? I suppose that this is the concern of heroic signatures. I'd purchased the work directly from the publisher's Arkhaven Comics website for $12.99 US, and it also seems to be available on Amazon. The purchase included an ebook and a couple of things on the order. It took a long time for the order to be fulfilled. I'd observed others receiving the book much sooner than I did, knowing that I'd ordered it well in advance of them. It was enough to cause me to seek some sort of assurance from the publisher, but to no avail. In the end, the book did arrive, so no harm, no foul, I guess. And as for the ebook, well, it ended up in my spam, and I accidentally deleted it. My bad again. I tried to reach out to see if I could be sent a new link, but nothing. So customer service would appear to be secondary to their publishing endeavors. It's a fine enough paperback edition, with the story coming in at 119 pages. The cover presents a vibrant illustration of a fairly classic-looking comic book version of Conan, two voluptuous maidens at his feet. Its premise as Conan pastiche is pretty straightforward. Conan is employed as a mercenary with the armies of Prince Athomedus under one General Scythus. He and some companions are tasked with finding some alternate entrance to the Black Citadel, Talis Karith. The Citadel has been under siege for some time and is an impediment to the progress of the campaign to depose the sitting Emperor Strabonus. The current siege is taking far too long and consuming far too many resources. If only Conan was able to find some alternate point of entry, surely the tide will turn more quickly. And in this endeavor, Conan and company see only fleeting success. While the goal of finding alternate entry is not quite realized, evidence of amassed treasure is enough to alter Conan's motivations. As Conan enacts several schemes by which to achieve his goals, and as Ghoulie Mage is at work in the bowels of the tower, and through skill and the folly of hubris, he manages to conjure a formidable threat to not only the siege's progress, but also to our hero's machinations. The story culminating with Conan's successes juxtaposed with those events in the tower that are beyond his control. A tone is set from the very beginning, even the chapter title, The Man for the Task. You know who that's going to be. Slender and lithe, the girl spun in the firelight to the hypnotic beat of the drums. It's obvious that we're going to get a mature Conan adventure. And while there's a lot of individual Conan action, there's also passages like this. Arrows threaten to blot out the sun. They just bring to mind those big battles that Howard really writes so well. And I do have thoughts about this passage. As though sensing the general's gaze, the man below turned his face upward to meet Scythus' eyes, the gray eyes of a wolf peering from beneath a mane of blunt-cut ebon hair. To me, Conan has volcanic blue eyes. Now, there are elements of the story that demand a little extra suspension of disbelief, but hey, this is Conan in what feels like pulpy comic book fun. You'll have to read the book, but his plans to gain access to the mining operations seem ill-advised, but they do work, and the vastly expedited progress of those operations under his command feel a little far-fetched. But this is Conan, and he's intelligent and motivated and happy to play the odds, so why not? Of course he's going to make it work. The short length also makes some moments feel rushed or maybe disjointed, but again, so what? It's a short story we're talking about here, and ultimately the pace is really fun. We're not talking about a deliberately slow, detailed story like S.M. Stirling's Blood of the Serpent. And while I relish the world building and details of Blood of the Serpent, this is a very different and satisfying beast. Assessment: it's a fun frolic. It would certainly be worthy of any issue of Savage Sword of Conan. It well captures the character of Conan, and I'd say its short page length pays successful homage to the bombastic brevity of Robert E. Howard's original stories. The Siege of the Black Citadel is subtitled as Chuck Dixon's Conan #1. Dixon has said that he's written 2 of these stories so far and has committed to a 3rd. I'll definitely pick them up. If you're a fan, I'd say it's worth both the price and the time commitment. I'd encourage you to check out Chuck Dixon's Conan. This is Conan, written by someone who knows Conan. Until next time, take it easy, you Stygian dogs.